Andrew, we've been reviewing a lot of Volvos lately, and we just came off from reviewing the XC40. And this XC60 is probably the biggest Volvo we've reviewed so far, unless you kind of count the wagon just because it's so long. And I just feel like this is the sweet spot for Volvo. You know, like it's not too big like the XC90 for like bigger families that travel a lot. XC40 is still a good size to me, but this just feels like perfect, at least for our family.
For me, if it was the 40 or the 60, I don't feel it makes it that much of a difference. I feel like they're both very similar in terms of size. I know that this one is a bit bigger, but I don't feel like it's significant enough for me to say I need to have the 60. So I really do love the 40 and the 60 equally. The thing about this car though that stands out from all the other Volvos we reviewed is that it's the black edition. Huge upgrade, huge difference in appearance, looks sporty, it looks amazing, and I feel like it really stands out from all the other cars we've reviewed.
Well, yeah, it takes like the regular Volvo XC60 and makes it look like sporty and stealthy and cool.
It's just the jet black color. It shines, it actually sparkles in the sun. Like if you've seen this car, the color sparkles in the sun. It looks very black at night. The rims, the 21-inch rims.
All season.
Are amazing. You have the blacked out, the front is all blacked out.
The Volvo logo's blacked out.
The logo's blacked out. The Volvo in the back is blacked out. It just looks so classy and so sporty, and I love everything about this car.
But to me, that's a subjective price tag. Like that's because you're buying it for the appearance, right? Like I feel like I like a combination of both. Like, you know, I want my car to look good, but I'm not gonna go crazy and spend all this money because it is a car at the end of the day. Like it does depreciate. But at the same time, I want it to be practical.
You're right, because you can get the ultimate package,
which is still a big upgrade.
Which is the same, basically the same thing, but it's not the black edition, and you're ultimately getting the same features.
And you're saving a bit of money.
Right. And for this car, this particular car that we're driving has so many upgrades that don't come with the black edition that they have put on this car, such as air suspension.
Which is huge.
That's huge, right?
Yeah.
It's a big upgrade in terms of price.
But before you go on though, I want to talk about the air suspension because I feel like that's going to be a controversial point for a lot of people because air suspension is not cheap. Like it's a $2,300 addition, right?
Right.
And
I wouldn't really even care to use it.
But you don't understand. Like air suspension makes the car smoother.
Yes.
Right? That's the whole point. Like you can adjust the suspension to be fine-tuned to how you like the car to feel.
Right.
Now, I've driven a few cars with air suspension. Some of the companies do it extremely well. Others are kind of like, there's air suspension on this? I don't think you need to pay for it. Like just get the regular version because the regular XC40 feels as smooth as this, and that doesn't have air suspension.
Right.
Now, I will say though, the car's a little less jumpy, like over the bumps because of the air suspension, which is nice, but I still feel a lot of tire noise.
It does handle bumps really well.
It does. It's like, it's weird. Like it goes over the little bumps, it's fine, but as soon as the bump's like medium size, like you really start to feel it. But yeah, it's a smooth car. It feels solid. Like the materials inside of here are thick. When you close the door, there's a beautiful clunk. Like you just feel like this is a very well-made car.
Right.
You know,
Totally.
The stitching is nice. You know,
quality, everything about the car is beautiful.
Minus the screen, which we're gonna bring up.
Minus the screen that I can't handle, but it wouldn't deter me from buying the car.
It wouldn't stop me from buying the car either, right? It's just, that's just a subjective thing, like we talked about. Like it's a 9-inch screen in portrait orientation.
Right.
I'd probably want something in landscape a little bit bigger.
But the 12-inch screen in front of the driver, I think, kind of makes up for the 9-inch screen here. You know, like whereas on your Model 3, you only have the one screen here. You don't have this beautiful display in front of the driver. So that kind of makes up for it.
It gives some nice separation. So like you can have your maps on the front, on the main one, and then on the middle screen you can have like your music playing, which is kind of nice to have.
And you have heads-up display as well.
If you pay for it, exactly.
Right. So, but the black edition automatically comes with the ultimate package, which comes with the heads-up display. You can't make any upgrades to the size of the screen, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Now, let's move on to another upgrade. Would you pay $3,700 for the Bowers & Wilkins sound system? Without the upgrade, you get the Harman Kardon sound system. With the Bowers & Wilkins, you get 15 speakers. They sound incredible when you blast your music. I know you're an old man, so you don't like me blasting music in the car, but that's what I do when I drive. So for me, it made a huge difference to the quality of the sound.
Yeah, it's louder and brighter, but like I watch what you listen to music on. You listen to Spotify, which doesn't have like lossless audio or anything, so I don't really think you're taking advantage of it. I don't think it's worth the extra cost.
No, I don't think I'd pay $3,700 for an upgraded sound system, but that's also personal preference. Some people might want to.
Yeah.
which is great that you have the option,
Of course,
right?
but most cars you do get that option. Have you tried the front seat massage?
I have.
How does it feel?
And the kids love it too.
Does it is it tacky? Because I haven't tried it yet. Is it tacky like the Mercedes Kinetic Energy one, or is it like a proper massage?
It's more of a proper massage.
So like you feel the things going into your back and stuff
Yeah,
like that?
I think it's, I mean, that's an upgrade too, right? That doesn't come with this car. You have to pay for the upgrade.
Extra $1,300
I believe it's 13.
Canadian.
Yeah. So yeah, I think I actually would pay for that before I pay for air suspension.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. I'd probably rather have air suspension.
Like I said, it's,
but that's just me.
Yeah, personal.
How fast does this car go?
So combined 455 horsepower, and it goes fast and you feel the speed.
Oh yeah, it's a very fast car. I mean, you are rocking 312 horsepower from the 4-cylinder engine,
Yeah.
which is turbocharged, by the way. And then you have 143 horsepower from the electric
battery.
motor.
Yeah.
Now this battery, now this is the one thing I loved about the Volvo, and I noticed this on the V60, their wagon. They do hybrid correct. Like it feels like an electric car when you're using the motor instead of the engine, because you have proper one pedal driving. Like you put it on drive and then you push it down one more to B+, and then you literally have proper, like you're not in it right now, you're in drive. So I'm gonna put it down to B+, now you have one pedal driving.
Right.
You know? And that, as someone who's an electric car owner, that feels like an electric car.
Yes, it does give it that effect for sure, that it's not a hybrid.
Like I don't ever have to use the brakes. Like I think I've used my brakes twice in a year on my Tesla.
Yeah.
And you can do the same thing with this car, which is fantastic.
For sure.
The electric motor is very quiet, as it should be, and I find that when it switches to the gas engine, that it's not very loud. Like you don't notice the transition. It's not like rough when it happens. Like it's a smooth procedure. Obviously you hear the engine roar up and stuff like that. It's normal, you're gonna hear that, but it's a nice transition overall. We got about 65-ish kilometers using the electric motor.
So we thought we were going to get just under 60, but we actually got a few
60 to
extra
65
kilometers, which is great.
Yeah.
And because I'm driving in the city most of the time, I don't ever have to use the gas.
Which is
in the car.
fantastic.
I
Yeah.
can live just on 60 kilometers of range, plug it in every so often, right? When I'm running low on kilometers, but overall, like it's enough.
The overall feel of the wheel, the way it drives, it turns, very similar to the XC40, so no complaints there. It's similar wheel and everything. The overall visibility of the car, the A-pillars are a little on the bigger side, but I still feel like I have a good visual experience when I'm looking forward. You got heads-up display, which is great to see, and there's not a massive reflection, which is good. You have your little ticket holders, which is standard for most Volvos. The mirrors are a great size.
Oh yeah.
I can check how beautiful I am.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
my hair is pretty messy.
Yeah.
And then of course, right beside that, you have another ticket holder if you want to place some papers inside.
We also did mention that this car is Polestar engineered, which is another upgrade.
Yeah, it feels exactly like the Polestar. You know, like it is a Polestar. I mean, they're both synonymous with each other, so you know, it feels good. And of course, this little nub over here to change the gears, the crystal
Nub?
gear
It's called
shift.
a gear shift.
It's a nubbin.
You call it a nub.
This crystal gear shift is an upgrade. I don't think it's worth it, but it does look really, really
It's
nice.
not an upgrade. It comes with it.
Not with the normal model. It's an upgrade, I believe.
With the black edition, it comes.
Yeah,
with
it comes in the black edition, but if you
Yes.
order the Core Plus, I don't think it
Yes.
comes with it. I'm going to mention that there is piano black plastic around the gear shift box, then of course around the screen, which I do not like. I think it looked better without it, but that's just my personal opinion. You have your park, auto hold, and then to turn the engine on, you twist it to the right to start and stop it. Now there's no place here to charge your phone wirelessly, which I'm kind of shocked to see. Like there's a place to put your key, but I don't see a place to charge your phone, which is kind of unfortunate. Now, the smart thing that Volvo did, and a lot of other companies don't do this, is that there's a little space here when you open this up to like sift your cable through, because the USB Type-C port's in here. And when you close it, it doesn't crunch the cable, which I think is genius. But you get two Type-C ports. This does support Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. It's not wireless, which again is unfortunate. It should be standard in all cars today. But yeah, you got to plug it in every time if you want to use Apple CarPlay. But again, this is a Volvo, so it is using Android's automotive system. So you can just log into your Google account. You can download whatever apps you want, like Spotify, and then just use it that way instead of connecting your phone at all.
So in terms of comfort, I feel like there is nothing about the seats I would change.
They're perfect.
I think that they're perfect. The size is perfect. I like that Volvo now uses leatherette materials, and on this you have a nice leatherette material. It does feel like leather, so there really doesn't seem to be a difference, right? You wouldn't
No.
know the difference if I told you this was leather or leatherette. So
it's comfortable enough, like in the terms of the actual
Yeah.
materials they're using. The only thing I wish they would change was that I can move the headrest. I mean, it's fine for me, but I know some people are going to complain about that, so I am going to bring it up. Unfortunately, it is static, so you can't move that. But the seats are big. I feel like the seats are actually bigger than the XC40. I find this to be a bit more comfortable. You know, there's a lot of room for my legs to spread apart because I like to drive with my right.
spread apart.
That was a little
You
weird.
like to spread your legs
I like
apart,
to
Matt?
spread my legs when I
When you drive, you like to just spread everything?
It's gonna keep aired out, you know? And I like
Okay.
the right leg to be nice and loose.
So it's good you have a self-driving car now. You can just spread your legs and let the car do its job for you.
That's just the way I roll.
Yeah. So the back seats are also just as comfortable as the front.
They are.
And you have a ton of leg room back there.
Yep.
A lot of headspace.
Easily fit.
No complaints about the back seat.
Yeah, you got a
You have
little
the ski hole.
ski tunnel
you
to fit
have-
stuff through.
You have your armrest back there with no cup holders on the armrest, which you always complain that your elbow can fall into the cup
Your elbow
holders.
could die.
Yeah. So you have the little push button there. So
Which
the
pops the cup holders out.
Yeah,
I love
exactly.
that.
So
Yeah.
the little things that matter.
But the third person sitting in the middle is going to suffer a little bit because the transmission tunnel is quite large. You do
They might have to spread their legs.
they can learn from me.
So then that would be a great spot for you to sit.
There you go. You have the ability to change the seat warmers on the back. Again, this is an upgrade option. The standard core model does not come with rear seat warmers, only front. But you also have a couple of Type-C ports back there if you want to charge your devices while you are driving. Trunk space is
Decent, not
decent size.
amazing.
yeah, you know, like at 22 cubic feet, which is not the biggest trunk space.
No, you have a ton when you put the seats down. I think over 60.
60-40 split.
But yeah, it's
It's a good size.
fine.
It's fine. I find it fine. Like, it's not gonna blow you away, but I think it's good enough. Like, I'm easily fitting a hockey bag in there, no
Yeah,
problem.
like
a
you
couple
can-
of other things.
you could put a couple of hockey bags back there easily.
Yeah, and then of course, just like with the internal controls of the menu system over here, you can play around with different driving options. Like if you want to go super fast in this car, and like this car can do 0 to 100 kilometers in 4.8 seconds. If you want to do that, you can switch it onto the Polestar mode and you'll get like instant response, you'll get instant torque. Whereas if you leave it on hybrid mode, it's more of like an everyday city driving. There's obviously pure mode, which makes the car start using the battery when it can. And then of course there's constant all-wheel drive, which I feel like is a great option if you're driving in the winter. But yeah, this car is ridiculously fast. Also, if you want to control the air suspension, you can do it from the back as well. So let's say you're at a picnic or you're on a surface level where like you're standing lower and you want to bring the car down. There's buttons in the trunk that allow you to adjust the suspension to make the car go up and down.
Which to me wasn't significant. Like you're getting what? A
No, it doesn't look
third
like
of an
it.
inch?
When you're pushing it, it doesn't look like you're going up or down that far, but like
Right.
I was filming it, it's still good enough, you know, like it still makes a difference, right?
Yeah.
So it's handy. It's a neat feature. And if you want to put the seats down, you can't do it from the trunk. You have to kind of go to the rear seat or the rear passenger or driver's side and push the little button and then pull it down. So you can't do it from the back. Moonroof is absolutely massive. Like it's great.
It's your average moonroof.
There's no average
nothing
moonroof.
special about
I
this
like
moonroof.
it.
It's just
It
a
goes
regular
all the way
moonroof.
back. When it goes all the way back, it's massive in my eyes. Like it's just bright. They did a good job on the tinting. So like even though it's
Yeah,
open
the
right
tinting,
now,
yeah.
I don't feel like the sun is beaming off my face. Like it's good.
Yeah.
You know? And then of course you can obviously control it with the controls if you want to keep it shut. So the big question, should you buy the Volvo XC60? Absolutely. We think this is a fantastic car. You should put it on your short list. But the bigger question becomes, should you spend the extra money on the black edition? I think that's very subjective. Like you want the look, you want the bigger tires, you want the special paint, you want the air suspension. That's something you have to decide for yourself whether it's worth it. Personally, I feel like the Core and Plus models are the sweet spot. You'll save yourself a lot of money and still get most of the features. You won't get air suspension, but I feel like air suspension on this guy is not as smooth as some of the competitors that are currently out there. Either way, we loved it. We definitely recommend it. If you have any questions, let us know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in the next one.